kiss for you.
Welcome back to my next video. Now today we are going to study about some of the organelles of the cell and some of the varieties of the cell. Now cells come in a multitudes of shapes and sizes. That means that cells are of different types and different shapes. A lot of many varieties of cells are present in this world. And why are they so? Why do cells come in such a multitudes of shape, such a variety? Why do they come? Because each cell has to perform a different function. That means muscle cells, you can see muscle cells are elongated, long and elongated and thin. Why? Because they have to relax and contract and they have to perform the activity of the body. That's why they are so. Then you can see over here, this is a circular shaped RBC, that means red blood cell. So red blood cell, definitely it also has to perform the function of carrying oxygen, carbon dioxide, and in the form of with that help of hemoglobin. Then we have over here guard cells. Now guard cells are associated with opening and closing of stomata. Now this term you have come across earlier also in class 4, 5, something like that. So this guard cells, they are bean shaped. Why they are bean shaped? So that they can facilitate opening and closing of stomata. Then this you can see a neuron. Neuron is elongated because it has to carry messages from the brain, from the spinal cord to different parts of the body. And over here we can see a different example, that means not associated with any major organism. It is amoeba. Amoeba that can attain any type of shape. You can see a nucleus over here and it has a contractile vacuole. That means contractile vacuole ka matlab hota hai ki that vacuole can contract and expand like this. So the amount of food that the amoeba will engulf, accordingly the contractile vacuole will shift. Now we will study about the constituent features of the cell, that is cell organelles. I think you are clear about the concept of the cell. That cell, it is a mass of protoplasm containing of nucleus and other cell organelles bounded by a cell membrane and a cell wall in a plant cell. Now let us come across these terms: nucleus, protoplasm, then cell membrane, cell wall. What are these? Now let us know. First of all, it is very important to know the definition of a cell organelle. Now cell organelles are those structures which constitute the cell. They have a definite structure and a definite function. So small parts of the cell which have a definite function and a definite structure are known as a cell organelle. Now there are three basic cell organelles. First of all, we have cytoplasm, then we have nucleus, and we have a plasma or cell membrane. We can either use the term plasma membrane or we can use the term cell membrane. So these are the three important things: cytoplasm, nucleus, and plasma membrane. Now we will move on to the first and the most important cell organelle, that is the cytoplasm. Now when we look into a cell, suppose this is a cell. Okay, the first organelle, the most important organelle is the cytoplasm. Now inside the cell there is a semi-fluid like structure. Okay, suppose this is organelle X, this is organelle Y, this is organelle A, this is organelle B. So in all, so you can see the the broken lines which I am making. You can see this part resembles the cytoplasm of the cell. Now, one thing you have to be very clear when you study about the cell organelles. What is the structure of the cell organelles? what is the function of the cell organelle, and what is a location of a cell organelle. Now already we said that each cell organelle is a part of the cell which has a definite structure and definite function. That means we must know what is that definite structure, we must know what is that definite function. Now location, all the organelles do not have a definite location, therefore we do not mention a definite location in case of a definition of a cell organelle. Now you can see these broken lines, these are known as the cytoplasm. This part of the cell is known as the cytoplasm. So structure of the cytoplasm, it is the semi-fluid like structure. Semi-fluid structure, so that means that it is a semi-fluid in shape. Then we move on to the location. Now location, it extends from the nuclear membrane to the plasma membrane. Now first is suppose this organelle X is the nucleus of the cell. Therefore the membrane surrounding this nucleus is known as the nuclear membrane. So the portion of the semi-fluid between the nuclear membrane and the plasma membrane, it is known as the cytoplasm. And function, it is the first site of all the metabolic activity. That means whatever activity is taking place in our body first occurs in cytoplasm. That means it is not like that ki everything occurs only at the same time. Many steps are involved in a metabolic activity. That means in performing a certain activity, many steps are involved, but always the first step, it is performed by the cytoplasm. That's why we say that it is the first site of reaction, any metabolic activities. Now we move on to the second most important organelle of a cell, that is cell membrane, also sometimes known as plasma membrane. Okay, plasma, इसको भी हम लोग कहते हैं, we call it as plasma membrane also. Many a times we will find this term plasma membrane. Now जब हम एक एनिमल सेल का स्ट्रक्चर देखते हैं ना, you know that animal and plants are two different things. So therefore एनिमल सेल भी दूसरा होगा और प्लांट सेल भी दूसरा होगा. प्लांट सेल्स वेराइटी के शेप्स में होते हैं, वी टेक इट एज रेक्टेंगुलर, हेक्सागोनल. एनिमल सेल को जनरली सर्कुलर होते हैं और भी डिफरेंट टाइप्स के एनिमल सेल्स होते हैं. बट वन थिंग यू विल फाइंड कॉमन की प्लांट सेल में एंड additional to the cell membrane, there is another membrane over the cell membrane, that is known as the cell wall, that we will discuss afterwards. But animal cell में ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता. Animal cells do not have all such things. Animal cells have a plain cell membrane. Okay, so therefore structure of a cell membrane first is discuss, and then we will move on to the location. Now structure of a cell membrane. Now cell membrane, it is made up of two substances, lipid and protein. Lipid is a compound and along with that we have proteins. Together we call it as lipoprotein. Okay, but even if you write it as lipid and proteins, it would be accepted. Lipid and proteins or lipoprotein, also we call it as lipoproteins. So lipid and protein, that is the structure. That means what is the constituent of the plasma membrane. Now location, as mentioned earlier, that it is the outermost covering of an animal cell and innermost covering of a plant cell. That means, see, sometimes the organelles are present in both animal and plant cell. Okay, so you have to specify that what is the location in these two different types of cells. So it is the outermost covering of the animal cell and it is the innermost covering of the plant cell. So that is the location of the plasma membrane. Now we move on to its function. Now function is enclosing of cell structure. That means if cytoplasm do not have a cell membrane or a plasma membrane around it, then definitely the cytoplasm would be all shredded around and all such things. So first function of the cell membrane is that it encloses the cell structure. That means all the cell structure is enclosed by this particular cell membrane or plasma membrane. So first function. Then second thing, definitely if it is a membrane, it is a protective covering. So provides protection to the animal cell, because plant cells, they have a cell wall, so we don't say animal cell. So it provides protection to the animal cell, and encloses cell structure. These are the two basic functions of a cell membrane or plasma membrane. Okay, so plasma membrane's structure: lipid and protein, location: innermost layer of plant cell and outermost layer of animal cell, and function: to enclose the cell structure and protect the contents of the animal cell. Now, earlier in the when we were studying about the definition of the cell, we have tackled few terms. Cell organelles we have discussed. Then cell membrane also we have discussed. Now we will discuss what is a cell wall. Cell wall is formed due to deposition of cellulose. Cellulose is an excretory product that is formed by a plant cell. So it is deposited on the outer walls of the plant cell. So therefore, the structure of cell wall, it is made up of cellulose. Then the function of location of cell wall. Cell wall is definitely found in plant cell, not in animal cell. So you must specify that it is a plant cell, means outermost covering of a plant cell. Any plant cell's outermost covering is of cell wall. Then you have function of a cell wall. Cell wall, it provides rigidity to the plant cells. This is a very important point. Later on, when we will discuss about the tissue part, then this cell wall and rigidity is going to play a very important role. So you have to keep in mind that more is the thick cell wall. So the cell wall is formed due to deposition. So that's why, you know, when cork cells, you know, formed, so this way, it was formed, all the depositions were made on the wall. So that is known as cell wall. So it was formed by the deposition of cellulose. So cellulose was formed, so it is formed. So you should always remember that the function of cell wall is to protect the plant cell and to provide rigidity to the plant cell. So structure made up of cellulose, function, it is location, it is the outermost covering of the plant cell, and function provides rigidity to the plant cell, and also it protects the contents of the plant cell. These are the two main functions of a cell wall. It's time for us to look at those give reasons. Now you might be wondering why I discuss give reasons at the end of every video, because you know, give reasons are sometimes tricky. They require many points which students are able to collect and recall and write in the examination. That's why I always discuss give reasons at the end. First of all, cells are available in a multitude of shapes and sizes. I already told you, since each cell is concerned with different activity, okay, so facilitate that activity, cells are available in a multitudes of shapes and sizes. Then after that, we studied about the cell organelles. There we tackled cell wall and cell membrane. So cell wall is freely permeable, so because it allows anything to come inside the cell and leave the cell. Cell membrane is called selectively permeable because it allows only certain substances to enter or leave the cell. All for today. If you think that I was able to build your concept and we were here to learn something new, then please like my video and subscribe my channel Study with Aditya. Thank you.